What's up guys, John here, and today I'm going to do a rare and expensive games video of games that I have in my collection, and I'm probably going to break this video down into 3 or 4 videos because I have so many games that I've bought over the years. I just can't show them all to you at once unless it'd be like a 3-hour video. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first game that's risen in price, you know, just like all the Super Nintendo games kind of have. That's Sunset Riders. This game's probably 60, 70 bucks. This is probably one of the cheaper games I'm going to show you. Really good game though, especially if you like wild guns. This game's kind of comparable to that. So yeah, Sunset Riders on the Super Nintendo. Quick note though, there was a version of this that's a little bit different on the Genesis. I don't have that one, but I do have the Super Nintendo version. Okay. Let's stick with some of the 16-bit games I got here. Okay, so for all the Castlevania games out there, I got Castlevania Bloodlines complete in box for the Genesis. And this game has 2 characters you can play as. You know, you got your normal Mr. Belmont character, and then you have another guy that has this like this bow staff, and you can kind of use it to pole vault with, and it's pretty cool. This game looks really good if you can RGB mod or get a pair of SCART cables for your Genesis. This game really takes advantage of that. I highly recommend doing that if you have a Genesis or you're into the Genesis or the Sega CD. So yeah, Castlevania Bloodlines. All right. Now this is probably one of my favorite shooters on the Genesis, and they've all gone up in price, you know, over the past few years, but Grindstormer, this game is rare. It's hard to find. Mine is complete, original box. Now this game, I heard that the ROM chips on these would kind of give out, and I don't know if that's kind of a Tengen, because I know Tengen was owned by Atari. I don't know if it's like, you know, some of the hardware that they use when making these. I don't know. I know my copy works fine, and it has for years. And yeah, Grindstormer. I think I got a video of this out. Check it out. Okay, and for all the people that have played Splatterhouse on the PC Engine, now I don't have Splatterhouse 2 on the Genesis, but I do have Splatterhouse 3. And this game is in pretty good condition. It's all in there. Manual's crisp, the game's crisp, the box still has a little hang tag on it. This game has some pretty interesting visuals and cutscenes for a Genesis game. You might want to check it out. It was kind of revolutionary for the time. This game has gotten really pricey. I want to say between 100 and 150. I was real fortunate to get this game a long time ago, and it didn't cost me anywhere near that. But definitely a game you might want to check out, even if you have to emulate it. But yeah, Splatterhouse 3 on the Genesis. Check it out. Okay, and I don't know why I grabbed these 2 games, but I do love the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx 16. And the first game I'm going to show you is a Working Designs release, and that is Exile on the PC, or not the PC Engine, the TurboGrafx CD, or for the Turbo Duo. And for all the Ys guys out there, I love the Ys series. They're great action RPGs, kind of comparable to the Tales series a little bit. Although this was way before Tales of anything, and this is Ys Books 1 and 2 for the Turbo CD. Yeah, it's a good game. It's kind of Zelda-ish. Yeah, at the time I think this was like $20 or $30. I think this game probably goes to close to 100 now. I was real fortunate to find this years ago. I actually found this at a thrift store. But yeah, Ys Books 1 and 2 for the TurboGrafx 16 CD. Okay, and I got a couple of PlayStation games. I'll get one of the big ones out of the way first. We got Misadventures of Tron-Bonne. If you guys like Mega Man Legends or action RPGs, it's a pretty good game. It does live up to the hype. This game, I don't really recommend it because of how much it goes for. I don't know. I haven't looked in a long time. Maybe 100, 150. Now, I am missing the Mega Man Legends 2 demo disc for this, unfortunately, but I actually got this from a friend. I might have paid $20 or $30 for it, but it is rare and expensive. There was a time out here in Baltimore that every retro game store that I went to had a copy of this. Even the GameStop right next to my shop that I work at, They had a loose disc copy of this game. Now I can't find it anywhere, but there was a time where this was very plentiful, yet still expensive. But yeah, Misadventures of Trombone. It's a decent game. Ooh. Okay. Okay. This is a Tales game that is really good, and that is Tales of Destiny 2. Now, I have Tales of Destiny 1 and 2. In Europe and in Japan, this was called Tales of Eternia. I really recommend this game. It is expensive. It is rare. I've actually never... The one time I actually saw this, it went home with me, and I own it. I actually paid $50 for Tales of Destiny 1 and 2 at the time. Yeah, Tales of Destiny 2, check it out. It's a pretty good game, even if you emulate it on a PS1 emulator. Okay, everyone knows about this game, and yet it is rare and it is expensive, and that is Suikoden 2. It's been many years since I played this game, and I do remember that I needed a guide to get through it. I do believe I have the strategy guide for this game somewhere. I mean, this game is in pretty good shape. It looks damn near brand new. It's just not in the wrapper. But yeah, Suikoden 2. Okay, next PlayStation game. Now, okay, it's Valkyrie Profile. Rare and expensive. I'd say this one's like 100, 150. You know, people are going to spend whatever they want for it. But I do know it costs, you know, quite a bit of money. I probably bought this game 10 years ago. This is a turn-based, timing-based RPG. The best way I can kind of describe Valkyrie Profile is if you guys ever played like Project Crosszone 1 or 2 for the 3DS, or Super Robot Ties and OG Endless Frontier for the DS, they're not really similar to those games, but those games are turn-based, timing-based, role-playing games. And this one is too, although this one was the first. You see this game? Pick it up. Valkyrie Profile. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, moving on. I collect for the Neo Geo CD. I love the Neo Geo CD. I love the controllers for the Neo Geo systems. I love the shooters on the system. And there's really not much else to the Neo Geo CD other than the shooters on the system, in my opinion. Yes, there's good fighters on the system, and I do have many of those, but I grabbed this game because it's the most expensive Neo Geo CD game that I own, and that is Polestar for the Neo Geo CD. And yes, it is complete. You can see by the manual. But you know, if you like R-Type, you know, those style of games, this game really reminds me of R-Type. This one's really hard. It's got amazing visuals and graphics, and it's got pretty decent music. But you know, people, they rag on the Neo Geo CD for the load times, and yes, they are long, but you know, I'm a 90s baby, and it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, Polestar, check it out. And this is probably one of the pricier Nintendo DS games that I own, and this one is complete, and that is Solitarobo Red the Hunter, another action RPG. I don't really know if this is worth the money that it goes for. I mean, honestly, buy a repro of this game. It's not worth the $100 or $150 that it goes for. I bought this years ago complete. It's got the box and the soundtrack in there. But it is a good game. I do recommend it if you're into action RPGs. Solitarobo Red the Hunter. Okay, that's everything out of that box. So let me put these away. And we're going to move on to box 2. Moving on to box 2. It's got some of the bigger games in there. Some of the pricier ones too. Okay. Just move this here. All right, now we're moving on to PlayStation 2. Now, there's not really a whole lot of games that cost a ton of money on the PlayStation 2, but there is a few. And I mean, guys, I'm not the kind of guy that's really into the survival horror genre. Like, you know, Resident Evil's cool, but, you know, like the Rule of Rose and all that stuff. I mean, yes, I've played the game, but it's okay. I'm just more of a RPG shooter guy. So I'm going to show you a couple of RPGs that are kind of expensive and that I really enjoy on the system. Okay, so the first game, if you guys are fans of the Dot Hack series, this is the last game in the first series of Dot Hack games. and this is Dot Hack Quarantine. Now, I don't know why Dot Hack Quarantine is so much more expensive than all the other Dot Hack games. The only thing that I could think of is that the print run on this must have been super low. It's the last game in the series, not for the Dot Hack GU games, but for the original Dot Hack games. Yeah, Dot Hack Quarantine. I guess pick it up if you can find it for a deal. You know, if not, I don't recommend this game for the price that it goes for, but it is a good series, especially the GU series. Okay, and this is yet another game, the final game in a series of games, and that is Xenosaga 3. I like the Xenosaga series a lot better than I like the Dot Hack series. I mean, check the series out, you know, or buy Xeno Gears. I mean, it's kind of related to the Xeno universe. Yeah, the Xenosaga series is great, but this game, the last in the series, is the priciest one of all. It's not too bad. I'd say $60, but this one is complete with the DVD. But yeah, Xenosaga 3. Okay, and this game is a remake of the original Wild Arms, and that is Wild Arms XF. This is kind of a reimagining of Wild Arms 1 for the PlayStation 1, but you know, this game got kind of rough criticism. I really like this game. This one comes with it comes with a DVD. Anime video, kind of like Xenosaga 3 or all the Xenosaga games. The DVD was like, it's kind of like, so this game's based on like a manga or an anime over in Japan, and it has a DVD of that. I watched it. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but the game is pretty good. I definitely recommend it if you can find it under $50, but Wild Arms XF for the PlayStation 2. Okay, Sega CD. Now this game I kind of fancy as a hidden gem on the system. And this is like a $100 game. It's a good platform, and that is Flink for the Sega CD. Just another platformer on the system. You know, they were trying to catch on to the platforming craze at the time. I actually found this game at a local retro game store not too long ago for a really good deal, and I was shocked to see how much it went for online. And I just, you know, I saw the screenshots on the back. I don't know if you guys can see that. I saw so automatically I knew it was a platformer. But it's pretty good. It's not amazing. It's got some pretty good visuals. But another game you want to RGB mod or get a SCART to HDMI converter for your Sega CD or Sega Genesis. But yeah, Flink. Okay, and I don't know why I chose these games. I just chose random games, but Shining Force CD. Now, if you guys like Shining in the Darkness, well, that's kind of a dungeon crawler. But, you know, the original Shining Force games, they turned into action RPGs over the years. I believe starting with Shining Force, I think it's EXF for the PlayStation 2. If I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments. But, you know, this was one of the original turn-based strategy RPGs in the Shining series. And this is a must-own if you have the Sega CD. This is like a $150 game. But if you can find it for a deal, I definitely recommend it. I mean, hell, get a burn of it if you can. It's a really good game, Shining Force CD. Okay, next game. If you guys like Metal Slug, you're going to love this game. It's a shooter. It's a really good shooter. And that is In the Hunt. I was kind of surprised. Actually, I wasn't super surprised because, let's just face it, the Sega Saturn collecting for it is expensive as hell. The games just didn't sell out here in North America. I did not know that the people that made Metal Slug made this game, but I should have known just based on the graphics and gameplay style of this game. Now, they did release this game for the PlayStation 1 as well. This is the Saturn version. It is plagued with a bit of slowdown. And I'm going to say for this game, that's not necessarily a bad thing because when there's 100 different bullets on the screen, it's a little easier to navigate through them. But yeah, this game, it will slow down to pretty much a standstill at certain points of the game, but I still recommend it for a deal. It's In the Hunt, pretty good. And the last game, I was going to share this game first, but it just so happens it was the last game in the box. But yeah, you guys have heard of it, Panzer Dragoon Saga. It's like a $400 or $500 game. This is a good RPG. It's a good RPG. It's got an excellent battle system. The 3D graphics look a bit dated, especially for, you know, compared to today's graphical games. It's still really good. A lot of people compare this to Final Fantasy VII. I don't know why. They're so very, very different. In my opinion, Final Fantasy VII looks a lot more dated than Panzer Dragoon Saga. And again, if you can get RGB signal out of your Sega Saturn, I recommend doing so because it makes this game look pretty amazing, especially for the time. I know that the Sega Saturn wanted a game to kind of compete with Final Fantasy VII, and this was their answer. And unfortunately, this game came at the tail end of the games on this system, and a lot of people didn't get to experience this game. I was very fortunate to get a really good deal on this game and buy it at a time. I mean, it was still expensive. I paid a couple $100 for it, a few years ago. It's not worth the $500 that people are asking for this game. I recommend getting a pseudo Saturn cartridge and burns of the CDs on this game and playing it that way. Because let's just face it, the developers aren't seeing money from these retro games. So if you got to play a burn of it, so be it. I ain't hating on you for it. So guys, those are just a few, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 or whatever games out of my collection that are kind of rare and expensive. I'm probably going to do a few more video series about this because I have so many games that I can't show them all at once. But guys, thanks for watching the video. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And what are some of the rare and valuable games that you have in your collection? Let me know in the comments. You might have something I've never even heard of that's awesome, and I'd like to know about it. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time, peace out.